Hey, this is your boy Roto Beast. I'm here with my boy Jeremy. We're here to present you our NBA morning shoot around for Thursday, January 17th. If you're new to this channel, please make sure and click the subscribe button below. This week, you can watch all of our NBA, NFL, and MLB videos. And if you haven't came and checked out our website here at dfscheatsheet.com, you're absolutely missing out. We have all the tools to help you compete with the pros day in and day out, including a complete optimizer, tons of content, daily Fanduel and Draftkings cash lineups, and we're truly a one-stop shop for all your DFS needs. So make sure to check out the website, dfscheatsheet.com. So hey, how you doing out there, Jeremy?
Man, maybe we're gonna get some sunshine, dude. California, we ain't used to this rain.
Yeah,
My pool almost overflowed yesterday, man.
Yeah,
I had to back flush it.
I'm the exact same way, man. It's looking ugly outside. So yeah, man, real quick before we do get into this video, if you guys don't mind, please take a quick second, click the like button for me down below. Helps me out. Really appreciate that from you guys. Also, man, if you haven't, came and checked out the optimizer, we got so much stuff going on. We got a game preview. The starting lineups come out as they get confirmed. We got them. We got our new matchup tool that breaks down everything for you pretty much for every single player. Kind of tells you who has the best matchup, on paper, who's been doing good the past 5 games, how many minutes they're projected. We even have a new tool that's projecting ownership to tell you how high owned some players are going to be compared to other players. So, in tournaments, you're looking for that low owned player that helps you kind of push you ahead of other people who are kind of with the chalk plays. So we got a lot of cool things coming out on the optimizer in the website. So make sure and check it out, man. dfscheatsheet.com. And yeah, man, I'm ready to jump into this 5-game slate. We can get it going. If you're ready to go, then let's just get it in.
I didn't realize that we have. I mean, I've been away, man, and I haven't been tuned in. I've had some family stuff, but I didn't realize we finally got that programmed in. That's awesome.
Yeah, so hey, a lot of exciting things going on right now, man. So we'll jump right into it. We'll get started with the first game we're going to talk about tonight. It's going to be the Philadelphia 76ers going into Indiana to face the Pacers. This game has a 225.5 over-under, and Indiana is favored by 3.5 in this one.
So Joel Embiid, we'll start with him, a game-time decision. You can also look at Wilson Chandler. They're both game-time decisions. Joel Embiid with a tight back. I will note that he just missed a game recently with the same type of deal, back tightness. This I believe they played last night as well, right? This is the second half of back-to-back for them. Or did they play on Tuesday?
No, it was on Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah. Okay, so Embiid with back tightness. We'll see what happens with that. The good news here is that the game locks right at lock. So this game starts right at lock. So we should know before that. If Embiid doesn't go, then obviously you can look at a Mike Muscala who will be really chalk and probably start for him. If Chandler is also out, Korkmaz will probably be the guy that starts as well, and then you get a small bump to TJ McConnell and Landry Shamet. Look, Joel Embiid had a monster game just a couple of weeks ago against them. I believe he had 67 fantasy points. I'll pop open the player card real quick and we'll take a look at that. But I want to say he had 67. Yeah, 67.7, 34 minutes, 40 points, 21 rebounds. 40 and 20 is just a monster game. I mean, that's just a monster game. So you want to take a look at Embiid on this 5-game slate. There's only really a couple of paid-on opportunities at the center spot. One of them would be Tyson Chandler. We'll get to that in a little bit. But, I'm not really looking to play anybody else on this side of it. Ben Simmons and J.J. Redick and Jimmy Butler, to me, all three get a bump if Embiid is out. Redick had a nice game a couple weeks ago, 27 fantasy points when they played. Redick's going to continue to be a nice play when they have their full starting lineup in because the guy's just a dead knockdown shooter, like a poor man's Klay Thompson. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Wait and see on the news with the 76ers before we get into, who are the best plays.
Yeah, man, for sure. I mean, on the Indiana side things, it's tough because everybody's starting to come back. They're getting healthy again. You got Darren Collison, Joseph kind of sharing point guard minutes for the most part. Collison, I mean, he does get his minutes, but his price tag is starting to go back up a little bit. 5,800. He's got at least 31 in 3 of the past 4 games. But he's locked in right there about 26 to 28 minutes. And as a starter, I usually like to see the starters play 32 to 34 minutes. Definitely think he gives you a solid floor. I just don't know how much upside he's giving you on this price tag. You got Corey Joseph, almost minimum price at 4,100. He came back and he actually had a pretty solid game. Played 20 minutes, got you 10, 4, and 5 for 21 fantasy points, which was 5 times value. So I definitely think if you're looking for a cheap play, you could consider him. Oladipo, I don't know what to do with Oladipo, man. 8,000 is a fair price tag for him, but the guy he just hasn't really been playing the best. I mean, in the past 5 games, he hasn't got you more than 30, and he had a couple pretty duds in there. I mean, he's still scoring the ball. He's just not doing much else in other categories. It's like, do I want to pay out 8,000 for a guy that I just need 40, that I need at least 40 for value, and he hasn't come close to 40 in the past 5 games. So I think he's a GPP play only for me. And then he may also get some Jimmy Butler defense as well, which we know Jimmy Butler is a good defender. Bogdanovic, he's a guy that, he gets his consistent minutes. They like playing him. 5,500, the price tag is there, and he's a guy that with everybody healthy, his minutes are getting buzzed off a little bit as well. You pretty much need this guy to score the ball, in order for you to pay off value at this price tag. You need about 27 for value. Like I said, they just got so many guys. You got, Tyreek Evans, he's back. He's getting some minutes as well. They like to get this guy minutes. He has some upside. So I mean, I'm not really into Indiana so much. I mean, honestly, I was playing the big guys, but now you got Miles Turner back, so that cuts into Sabonis. Thaddeus Young, he's a guy they like to play. If I was going to play any of the 3 big guys for Indiana, meaning Young, Sabonis, or Turner, I definitely think it would be Young. I mean, he's just getting consistent minutes, right around 30 minutes a game. He's been playing very, very well, doing a little bit of everything, and his price tag is fair. We need about 31 for value. Definitely think he can get us there in this spot. So, I mean, I definitely think there's some guys that we can look at for Indiana for GPP. I just don't know if I'm really liking any of these guys in cash with everybody back and healthy. They're splitting a lot of minutes right now.
Moving on, man.
Next game, we got Sacramento Kings going into Charlotte to face the Hornets. This game has a 229.5 over under, and Charlotte's favored by 2.5 in this one.
So these guys just played 2 games ago. They just played. De'Aaron Fox had 47 fantasy points at right about 8.5, I believe his price tag was that night. I think he's a really solid play again tonight as well in tournaments. Willie Cauley-Stein, I love centers against Charlotte. He had a really good game, 35 or 36 fantasy points a couple of games ago. Buddy Hield had 28. Those are really the 3 guys. Bjelica, look, Bjelica is a GPP play on any night, and that's just because he's an upside play. The problem is when Bjelica's price tag gets in the 5,500 range or even above the 5,000 price point, then he's really just not playable because the consistency is not there. When he's at this price tag, a 4.5 on a slate where you got a Russell Westbrook, possibly a Joel Embiid, a Jokic, a Paul George, you're looking for a little bit of value. We know we've got value in Toronto tonight, but you're looking for a little bit of value. So Bjelica and Bogdanovic from the last game we talked about are 2 guys, the small forward spot that you could look to load as value plays. Shumpert, Shumpert's a really good defender, and this is a guy at 3.7. If you need a drop spot play, you can play him again any given night as well because he does bring you drop spot upside. And at 3.7, if he doesn't do anything tonight, it doesn't kill you. If you get you 24 fantasy points and goes 8x, you got a shot to take something down if you hit everywhere else. Marvin Bagley, continue to play Marvin Bagley. My problem with Marvin Bagley now is the 6.1 price tag. I'm not really feeling that 6.1 tonight on this slate, but it is a good spot for him against a team that does struggle against bigs. You're going with Biyombo, Cody Zeller out, Hernan Gomez not a great defender. Biyombo has the tendency to get in foul trouble. So, I don't mind Bagley. I don't mind Shumpert. I don't mind Bjelica if you want to play them in tournaments. For me, De'Aaron Fox, Willie Cauley-Stein, Buddy Hield, safe in all formats.
Yeah, man, on the Charlotte side of things, I mean, Charlotte's at home, so we always talk about it. Kemba Walker, he's a guy always plays much better at home. 9,200, I mean, it's not a give-me price tag. You just mentioned that they just played. And, Kemba Walker he had a decent game, played 33 minutes. He got you 31 real-life points. The past 2 games, he's got you 31 and 33 points. So he started to shoot the ball a little bit better, like he was earlier in the season. Definitely went through a little bit of a slump. At this price tag, I mean, mean, I like it. I definitely like him. I just think he's a little bit more of a GPP play because we need at least 46 just for value. Kemba Walker definitely has 46 fantasy point upside, especially at home. I just don't want to be chasing kind of the past 2 games. He scored 33, 31 actual real life points. If he doesn't score those kind of points, he's not really getting the secondary stats to kind of fill out this price tag. So GPP play for me. A guy that I really, really like is Jeremy Lamb, 5,900. He was hurt. He came back, jumped back in that starting role, and he's a guy they're going to play close to 30 minutes. He depends on them to score the ball. They depend on him to score the ball. Last game against Sac, he played 25 minutes, so he got us 20 fantasy points. He just didn't shoot the ball well. But, outside of that game, the 3 games before that, he got us at least 15 real-life points. So he's a scorer. I definitely think that he's a solid play on this slate in the up-tempo game against the Kings. Batum's a guy that we talked about. We were paying, $7,000 for him last year. This year, he's just been so inconsistent, so up and down. But last game, 2 games ago against Sacramento, he had one of those classic Batum games. Played 27 minutes, got you almost – a triple-double, kind of 13, 9, 5, 1 block, 2 steals. He showed up to play at a 5.2 price tag. This is 7X. So if we're going to – if he just hit 7X on this price tag, we got to definitely consider him. I'm not going to say he's going to get 35 again, but I can see him getting us 5 or 6X. Buy low opportunity. I definitely think you could look at Batum in GPPs. I'm not really looking at Marvin Williams. He just doesn't really give us upside on a 5,500 price tag. Lastly, Biyombo. He's a guy that I think it was 4 of the past 5 games. Actually, 5 of the past 6 games, he's got you at least 20 minutes. And he has double-double upside any night. It's all about if you're going to get minutes or not. Plays really good defense. He hasn't done nothing special. Don't get me wrong. I understand that. But, this is a smaller slate. If we're looking to pay down in some spots, 4.4, we need about 22 for value. I think that he could give us 22. And if they run him some extra minutes, you see it against Denver. They played him 30 minutes. He got you a solid double-double, 36 fantasy points. So it's all about minutes with him. And if he's going to start and get minutes, I definitely think you could look at him for GPP as well. But for me, I think that the Charlotte team in whole is they're more just GPP plays because they're so inconsistent.
I cannot look. I'm going to tell you this. Based on recent performance, Kemba Walker is not worth 9.2. He's not. Right. But
I'd rather play Fox.
His price tag at 9.2 tonight make him such an intriguing tournament play because of the fact that you look at that 9.2 and him not being worth that right now. If you get him low owned tonight and people don't want to pay up for the 9.2 for him because you got Westbrook or you got the opportunity to play Fox, dude, if the guy goes off, you may get him super low owned tonight.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I said, I know he has upside. We like him at home. I just don't like the price tag for cash games for sure.
Personally, this team's checked out, dude. This team is
season over, move on.
Michael Jordan was the greatest basketball player of all time. I'll argue with anybody who ever wants to throw anybody in that mix like LeBron James. I'll argue with you all day long and bring valid points. He's not been a good owner. He's not been a good owner. This team, I would not be surprised to see Kemba Walker move. Speaking of moving, real quick, Zach Randolph is in the news recently. We'll cover that really quick. Did you see the news on Zach Randolph?
No, what happened?
So they're in. I don't know if you noticed, but the guy hasn't played this year, and his price tag went from 3.5 to 3.9. And I guess that they've been in trade talks with the Knicks to get Enes Kanter for Zach Randolph.
So Enes Kanter for Zach Randolph?
Yeah.
And Kanter's going to the
Kings.
Yeah, I think that's a stupid-ass trade. Kanter is way better. Is still in his prime compared to fucking Randolph's already out 1 foot out the door.
That's a white-collar trade, bro. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah, well, because didn't Randolph start with the Knicks?
But what I'm saying is I believe Randolph was drafted by Memphis, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, but he played for a while with the Knicks.
I don't ever remember him being with the Knicks. I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, but he was with the Knicks for sure.
My point is that there's a trade exception, right? Like if you're the Knicks and you're looking to load up and try to go get some guys, you get rid of Kanter's contract, you bring in Zach Randolph and his expiring contract, and you get a trade exception as well.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, though. All right, so moving on. Next game we're gonna go with. This game is gonna have a lot of interest. So I think there's two games that is gonna have a lot of focus tonight. It's gonna be this game, the Phoenix and Toronto game, and it's gonna be the Lakers and OKC. So let's get started with this Phoenix game. You got Phoenix going into Toronto to face the Raptors. The Raptors are on the second end of a back-to-back. This game has a 222 over/under, and Toronto's favored by 8 in this one.
Yeah, man. So I would not ordinarily have any interest in Phoenix, but since we have, Valanciunas still out, and then on the back-to-back, Lowry and Leonard are both out.
Lowry and Leonard? I thought it was just Lowry.
Lowry and Leonard are both out. CJ Miles, a game-time decision. He keeps getting ruled. He keeps showing up as a game-time decision every time they're on the slate, and then they rule him out. So, this is a good spot now for Phoenix. It's a really good spot. If Phoenix can compete here.
I didn't know that both of them are out. Yeah, no, this game is definitely going to be – you got to load up on a bunch of those cheap Toronto guys.
You have to you don't have to, but obviously you're going to get value with Van Vliet at 5,000 and Green 4,800. Green always plays well without Leonard. But look,
just real quick, I'm not trying to interrupt you. My apologies. Actually, I'll wait till later, and then I'll get into what I was going to say. Go ahead, bro. Sorry about that.
You have to take a look at all 5 starters plus 2 more bench players for Phoenix. You have to take a look at Oubre playing really well since he's gone out to Phoenix and consistent. Look at his last 5 games, just about 27 minutes, 17 points, 4 rebounds at a 5.6 price tag. I don't mind that at all in this spot. Josh Jackson, 4.7. We know what the guy can do if he's going to get minutes, and he's been getting minutes consistently coming off the bench. Rashawn Holmes, I've been on this guy for a month. Continue to play Rashawn Holmes. The guy has double-double upside in 20 minutes. It's crazy. The guy gets rebounds, and this is one of those guys that he doesn't get rebounds and come back down with the basketball. He's very good at getting putbacks. The guy will get you putbacks. He'll get you 3, 4, 5 putbacks, which those are 3.2 points every time he gets you a putback, right? You get the rebound and 2 points. So Rashawn Holmes, continue to play him. Those are 3 bench players you have to take a look at. Bridges is a straight tournament salary saver at 3.9. He's playing 25 minutes. He can get hot. The problem is lately he hasn't scored the basketball. Not to say he can't. DeAnthony Melton playing 27 minutes right now starting. He's taking over the point guard position for them. He had a really nice game going against Indiana the other night. They ended up getting blown out. TJ Warren, 5.9, another good tournament play. The minutes are there. 35 minutes this guy's playing over his last 5 games. DeAndre Ayton had 44 fantasy points the last time these guys played back in December. Devin Booker also played in that game and had a 40 fantasy point outing as well. Kyle Lowry did play in that game. I think Kawhi Leonard did not, if I'm not mistaken. So take that for what it's worth. But you've got to look at all 8 of those guys. You really do, because they're all either a really good tournament play or just in a really good spot because of the guys that are out for Toronto.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. I didn't know. I knew Lowry was out. I didn't know Leonard was out. So, yeah. I mean, that opens up so much on the Toronto side of things. I mean, you start off with Fred VanVleet. He's going to get pretty much as many minutes as he can handle. And at a 5,000 price tag, I mean, this guy's probably going to be 80, 90% on. So, man, with what you just told me, tonight got chalky really, really quick, man. There's going to be a lot of Phoenix. There's going to be a lot of Phoenix and Toronto exposure, especially I think everybody's going to have 4 Toronto guys in their lineup for the most part with Westbrook. I just think that's really the build that's going to happen tonight. So you start with VanVleet, 5,000, going to be crazy high owned. Put him in, just move on. Don't overthink it. At the shooting guard spot, you talked about it. Danny Green, he's still under 5,000, great price tag. With the other guys out, they're going to need some scoring. And this is a guy that can get hot, hit some 3-pointers. He already been playing a ton of minutes. And now with these other guys out, I could definitely see him playing a bunch of minutes in this spot. DeLon Wright, he could possibly get a start, with both of the guys out. If he does, he's a guy, whenever he gets minutes, he produces. 4.5 is still a very fair price tag for him. We need about 22 for value. If he's going to start, he's going to crush this price tag, in my opinion. Going to be a very chalky play as well, like him. At the small forward spot, you can look at Norman Powell, especially if CJ Miles is out. They're going to be really, really short. They're going to have a really, really short rotation. Powell's going to get a lot of minutes. Wright will get minutes. VanVleet will get a lot of minutes. Green will get a lot of minutes. So this is a guy you can look as a possible punt play. This guy has a little bit of upside when he gets minutes. He can hit. He can get hot. He's a really good defensive player. And I like the fact that these Toronto guys are going against a young Phoenix team, because I definitely think these dudes could dominate Phoenix, even though they got Lowry and they got Leonard out. These good dudes they got some good players. And then I think the main guys that are really going to benefit tonight with the two guys out, it's going to be Ibaka and it's going to be Siakam. I think these two big men are going to eat tonight. They're both going to have really, really good games. Ayton's a really good, young player, but he's going to get pushed around by Ibaka, by Siakam. I actually really, really like these two guys. They're both very fair price tags. With the other two guys out, they're going to need some extra scoring, and these guys are going to get their minutes. So I like Ibaka, I like Siakam. So just to quickly round it out, you got to look at Van Fleet, think he's a lock. Dylan Wright, if he starts, just put him in there, move on. Danny Green, Powell, and then the two big guys in Ibaka and Siakam.
Move on.
Cool. Next game we're going to go with is going to be the Chicago Bulls going into Denver to face the Nuggets. This game has a 213.5 over-under, and Denver's favored by 13.5 in this one.
First guy I'm going to start with is Bobby Portis, because Bobby Portis is probably going to start tonight.
Yeah,
he was with the starters in the shoot-around this morning, so he's probably going to start tonight. This guy's a good player, man, and say what you want about Bobby Portis off the court, the thing with Mirotic, etc. The guy's he's a good player. Bobby Portis is a good player. He can knock down the three, he can rebound, he can play inside. The guy's very versatile, good player. So I like Bobby Portis at 4.8 if he does in fact start tonight. Chandler Hutchinson is a guy, again, you can play him on a normal slate as a drop spot upside play. I wouldn't mind it, but tonight you've got Norman Powell, who I think is the same price and in a better spot. Markkanen at 6.7. I'm not really feeling Markkanen. I'm not really feeling Levine, but I'm going to go back to Chris Dunn here, man. I'm just going to go back to Dunn. I personally think this game is going to get out of hand because I just don't think Chicago's got the stuff to go ahead and keep it close. This is a really good basketball team in Denver. We've said it all year long. So there's not a lot to like here. I don't mind if you want to take shots with Levine in tournaments. I'm fine with that. But really the one play for me here is Bobby Portis. I think that Bobby Portis, if he starts tonight, is in a really good spot.
Hey, I just want to tell you something real quick, bro. So I told you last game, I was like, oh, Will Barton's back. I would love if Will Barton got us close to 25 minutes. And you told me there is no chance in hell that Barton will get us close to 25 minutes, bro. And he played 23 minutes, and he had a really good game in 23 minutes. He had 11 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and a block for 26 fantasy points. These are Will Barton kind of minutes. And as Will Barton comes
No.
Yeah.
Will Barton's a 30-minute player, bro. He's a 30-minute player.
Remember last time I was telling you that I think he maybe get close to 25, and you're like, no, he's only played 14 and 15, and he got us 23?
That's a rounded up number. He played 22 minutes.
Make a long story short, the minutes are really starting to trend back up. I honestly, there's 3 guys that I'm really looking at on the Denver side of things. You look at Jamal Murray, he's their second All-Star. He's been playing very, very well, 7,600. He's giving you a solid floor. He's got you at least 29 in 5 straight games. Gotta definitely like that at home. Jokic, the only problem with Jokic is I'm in the same boat as you. I think this game is going to get out of hand, and these guys may get their minutes buzzed off. And, that's a scary thing. But on a positive, we've been talking about it. We've been taking sinners all year going against Chicago. Why stop now? Jokic was in this matchup earlier in the year, and he absolutely crushed. He was 1 assist away from a triple-double, and he got us 54 fantasy points. On this price tag, we actually need 56 just for value. So the price tag is scaring me a little bit on Jokic, to be honest with you. But I definitely think he's in play. You got Paul Millsap, 6,500. He's a very fair price tag. This guy's a former All-Star. He's just been so hit or miss. And sometimes he gets the minutes, sometimes he doesn't. When he gets the minutes, he plays well. But his minutes have been getting buzzed off a little bit because they're so deep. But I definitely think that you look at Murray, you look at Jokic, you look at Millsap, and then we got to wait on the injury news. If Will Barton and Gary Harris are both out, then you got to look at the guys we've been looking at. It's going to be Malik Beasley, Torrey Craig, Monte Morris. These guys will all be in play if Barton and Harris are both ruled out. We got to kind of, like I said, just wait on some injury news and kind of go from there. Monte Morris, his minutes have actually been down just a tiny bit, but it actually hasn't been too bad besides last game, and his price tag has really dropped. 3,700. That's almost a drop spot. That we could use for him. And at the end of the day, outside the last game, he got us at least 20 fantasy points in 4 of the 5 games before that. So I definitely think he would be a good punt play. It's all about if we get the news with Barton and Will Harris, because those are the guys that are gonna bite into Beasley, Craig, and Monte Morris's minutes. So we gotta wait on that injury news. So for now with Denver, I'm gonna look at Jamal Murray, gonna look at Jokic, Paul Millsap a little bit, and then I'm gonna wait on the news with Barton and Gary Harris.
Move on.
Cool. Last game of the night we're going to go with is going to be the Los Angeles Lakers going into OKC to face the Thunder. This game has a 228 over-under. OKC's favored by 10.5 in this one with no LeBron. One thing I do want to mention real quick is, I understand that the Lakers are struggling right now, but OKC's struggling as well right now. They just lost to the Hawks.
Look, I mean, they scored 100 million points in that game. Who knows, right? I mean, who knows? But you're right. The biggest news here is that the Lakers will, again, they've already announced their starting lineup. They are going to start Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Tyson Chandler. I will have a ton of exposure to Tyson Chandler at a 3.7 price tag. I get the Jokic play that you just talked about. I like it. Problem with Jokic in that spot is there enough if the game blows out? And then
that's honestly my biggest concern as well.
But here's the other thing, right? He almost had a triple-double. That's a monster game. Anybody who has a triple-double, that's a monster game, right? It was only 55 points, right? Like, is there enough to go? Can he score? He's got to score. We know he can dish. We know he can do all that stuff. So, look, I'm going to have a ton of exposure to Tyson Chandler. I'll have a ton of exposure to Caldwell-Pope. The last time these guys played, Caldwell-Pope had 34 fantasy points. I'll take 34 again tonight all day long. He's going to get minutes. We know that he's starting. Tyson Chandler played 26 minutes starting against the Bulls the other night. And for the entire fourth quarter, that game was over until the Lakers tried to just screw it off and lose it late with about 2 minutes left. So I'm not interested in Kuzma in this spot too much at 7.5. I have interest in other guys like you mentioned, the Siakam and Ibaka. I think they're in better spots than Kuzma is here. Right. Jeremy Grant and Steven Adams do a really good job. The reason I'm going to play Tyson Chandler is the upside part of it. If he's going to play, let's say he doesn't play 26 minutes. Let's say he plays 20 minutes tonight, right? If he plays 20 minutes, we've seen Tyson Chandler get you a double-double. We've seen him score 4 points and get 20 rebounds before when he was in Phoenix in the same amount of minutes, 20 minutes. So I'm going to play Chandler a lot because I think it's probably the one of the better upside drop spot plays where you can also play a Norman Powell, where Norman Powell, he's not really a drop spot. He's a straight upside value play today, right? Because of, especially if he starts. So Chandler, I'm going to play him. I'm not interested in Lonzo Ball. He hasn't played well against Oklahoma City. And I don't know what's going on with the bench as far as McGee, Hart, Beasley, etc. I'm a little nervous about that, to tell you the truth. When I see them bringing in, I can't pronounce the guy's name. I have no idea what country he's even from either.
You're talking about the shooting guard.
Yes, Fee Macaulay Kulak or whatever his name is.
But that guy could shoot though, bro.
He can definitely shoot. He can definitely shoot the basketball. But my point is, he's in the mix.
Right.
So, can I play Josh Hart? I don't know if I can play Josh Hart. JaVale McGee and Zubac, don't know what's going on there. I really think the Lakers, like we mentioned before, I think they're trying to get Caldwell-Pope some run here and see what they've got. This is a contract they want to move. And the best way to move it is to show the guy can play. So that's really where I'm at with the Lakers. Just to add one thing here, dude, we mentioned this the other night when they played Atlanta, and we said that Russell Westbrook 2 years ago, or even last year when he was this cheap, he was a must play. This is the first time this season that Russell Westbrook, you have to play Russell Westbrook at this price tonight. You cannot not play Russell Westbrook tonight.
Yeah, there is no if, and, or buts about it. I agree. Really quick, the guy, I think Michael Beasley, bro. I think Michael Beasley is the ultimate GPP play because they're starting to really get this guy minutes, and we know Michael Beasley. We've seen it.
I didn't say Beasley.
Huh?
I didn't say I missed Beasley.
I'm not sure if he did. He's just a guy that was really standing out to me, so I just wanted to quickly just go back over him real quick.
I don't know how many people know this or not about Beasley, but this dude's This dude and Kevin Durant are like best friends since they were kids.
Oh,
Kevin Durant says Beasley's a better player than he is. Beasley's just had life problems, right? And this guy, we've seen this guy, dude. We've seen this guy in Miami. We've seen him in Milwaukee. We've seen him all over the place. The guy can play. If he's going to get minutes, this dude can score the basketball.
Look at him 2 games ago. Actually, no, I'm sorry. 3 and 4 games ago. Utah. He only got 17 minutes. He got you 27 fantasy points. He could score the ball. Detroit. He scored 19 points in 18 minutes and got you 29 fantasy points. He has upside. It's just all about minutes for Michael Beasley. You know what I mean?
Michael Beasley's an old school 4. He's an old school 4. He's a 90s 4, dude. The guy can get on the post and post you up. He can put the ball on the ground. He can rebound it. Yeah, I like Beasley.
So on the OKC side of things, there's 5 guys I'm gonna look at. First thing first, I'm not even gonna bring up his player card. Russell Westbrook, he's pretty much a lock tonight. You got to have him in if you want to have any chance in cash games. Another guy you could look at, Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder's playing well. Yes, he comes off the bench. I understand. And, sometimes he does have those hit-or-miss games. But for the most part, Schroeder, he's been very consistent on the season. He's like their 6th man. They tend to get him close to 30 minutes a game, So it's even though he's coming off the bench, he's playing in crunch time. He's a backup point guard. He has some usage when Westbrook is out. I like Schroeder in this spot, up-tempo game against the Lakers. Paul George, 10.4. Do I really want to pay 10.4 for Paul George is a question. But
yes, I do.
I'm sorry?
Yes, I do.
Well, okay, so that's exactly what I'm saying. So we had the same question last game going against Atlanta, 9.7. Should we stack Westbrook? Should we stack George? Sure enough, we did. We stacked both of them, and it worked out. I definitely think this is another spot. You go right back to the well. Paul George earlier in the season against the Lakers, he faced them. He got 34 minutes, 37 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 steals for 52 fantasy points. 52 fantasy points is value on this price tag. I definitely think he gives us a solid floor, especially against a young Laker team who tends to turn the ball over a lot. And then we got Jeremiah Grant. Man, this guy is quietly having the best season of his career. He's having a really, really good stretch. The minutes are there for him. They're playing him a ton of minutes. He gets those defensive stats. And what's really starting to stick out to me is he's really starting to score the ball very well. And 3 of the past 5 games, he's got you at least 17 scoring points. In the San Antonio, when he scored 25 actual points, that was his career high. So the fact that he's got 17, 25, and 21 in 3 of the past 5, the guy's really starting to figure it out on the offensive side of things, knocking down some shots. He's really stepping up. I think he's a good play in an up-tempo game against the Lakers. And lastly, Steven Adams. Man, on this slate, it's like, we talked about it. Who do we really want to play at center? Well, it looked like Embiid is possibly going to be out. Jokic, I think, is overpriced. Steven Adams is a guy I think gives us a solid floor. Last time he had this matchup against the Lakers, he absolutely crushed. Played 36 minutes, got us a solid double-double, 14 points, 15 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 blocks, 39 fantasy points. That's pretty much what we need tonight to hit value is 39. He just did it against him not that long ago. I definitely think Steven Adams is in play. So I'm going to be looking at those 5 guys for OKC, and I'm not really going to be looking anywhere else.
Move on.
Cool, man. Hey, that's all we really got for you tonight. If you haven't already, hey, make sure to check out the site, dfscheatsheet.com. Hey, we got all the tools to help you compete with the pros. Hey, start winning with us tonight, man. If you haven't already, check it out, dfscheatsheet.com. Good luck on you guys' contest tonight. And, hey, peace out, guys.